There are plenty of places on the planet that are perfectly safe to be. The places in today's video, not so much. Whether it's inhospitable
Oh
climates,
my
toxic
God,
gases,
that is a
blazing
big
fires, or death-defying drops,
I've got
these are
lots of
places
guys
you'll
today. We're
definitely want to
watching
avoid if you
15 most
value your
dangerous
safety.
places
So
to
let's
be
begin this
on
one.
Earth.
These are the top
And this is
15
one of
most
the
dangerous places
most
to be in the
dangerous
world.
places.
Number 15. The Danakil Desert.
And
Desolate,
desert? Okay.
drought-ridden, arid, hot. The Danakil
Oh
Desert.
my
It
God,
checks all the
what?
boxes for a completely
That
uninhabitable
looks like
environment.
coral reef.
And as if that weren't enough, the desert is also in a volcanically active area. So yeah, it's one of the harshest climates in the world that also has the threat of an
Toxic
active
can kill you.
volcano erupting and spewing out lava. But wait, there's more. Did I mention the toxic
Why is
gases?
there so many
The
toxic?
desert's located right in a region full of sulfur vapors and geysers that
That's
spit out
ice.
toxic gases. So it's unbearably hot, in the vicinity of an active volcano, and toxic. Yeah, the Danakil
touch that,
Desert
you're
is
going to be-
located in Ethiopia in the Afar Triangle. Covers more than 50,000 acres of land, and the temperature
smell it?
rarely drops below 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus, this area receives less than an inch of rain per year.
Oh.
But good news, the area, one of the lowest points on Earth, is slowly sinking, and the Danakil Depression, which is in the northern part of the Afar Triangle, will one day fill up with water, and a new ocean or lake is going to be born. Well, according to scientists. So, the Danakil Desert, it won't be dangerous forever. Just give it another 10 million years or so.
Well, 10 million
Number
years?
14, Lake Natron. At first glance, this lake looks more like something out of a sci-fi movie than it does an actual lake. But rest assured, Lake Natron is a very real lake, albeit a dangerous one. The lake's located in northern Tanzania, northwest of the city of Arusha. The lake's 34 miles long and 14 miles wide, and although it boasts a pretty cool red color, the lake is toxic. This lake has a crazy high level of something called natron. Natron is a sodium carbonate decahydrate, and this something means that the waters in the lake are highly corrosive. In fact, the lake is so corrosive that it can literally burn human eyes and skin. The lake sometimes reaches pH levels of over 12, so needless to say, this corrosive lake is not really conducive for a fun lakeside family outing. The caustic nature of the lake comes from a nearby volcano, and water from the lake travels throughout the volcanic material from springs and streams before it hits the lake. This red hue of the lake also comes from red-colored bacteria called cyanobacteria, who surprisingly thrive in the lake's supersalinated caustic conditions. Lake Natron can also get really hot, like 120 degrees hot.
Wow.
So the heat, coupled with the corrosivity of the water, has caused many animals to perish in there. Beautiful but deadly. Lake Natron is not a place you want to be. Number 13, the Devil's Pool. If taking a dip in a natural pool right at the edge of a massive waterfall is your cup of tea, then you might want to consider heading over to Devil's Pool in Zambia. For most of us, though, pictures of death-defying tourists taking selfies at the waterfall's edge is enough to send us running for safer ground. This Devil's Pool is near the majestic Victoria Falls, and this is a one-of-a-kind infinity pool. It's accessed by swimming in the Zambezi and then slipping into the swimming hole. These falls are no joke, though, as 500 million liters of water cascade over the falls each and every minute. The Devil's Pool is guarded by guides who take daredevils into the pool. Victoria Falls is a stunning sight, to say the least, as it's the largest sheet of falling water in the world, and hundreds of thousands of tourists travel to the falls every year to witness the splendor and grandeur of this natural waterfall. There are many ways to witness the falls, from the knife-edge bridge, from the bottom of the gorge, even from the plane or a helicopter. But for whatever reason, some people prefer to immerse themselves in the experience by looking at the falls from the edge of Devil's Pool. The pool itself is about 10 feet deep, and it's surprisingly calm. Only a small and narrow rock ledge separates the pool from the colossal drop. The pool's closed when the flow is too high, and although there have been no deaths officially reported while under the watch of a guide, the Devil's Pool at Victoria Falls is clearly not for the faint of heart. Number 12, the Gates of Hell, Turkey. The Gates of Hell, or the Turkmenistan Darvaza gas crater, as it's officially called, is a deliberately dangerous place. And by that I mean it was set on fire on purpose. The Gates of Hell is not actually a descent into the bad place, but is rather a natural gas field that has an underground cave. To prevent the methane gas from spreading, geologists lit the field ablaze. That was in 1971, and the fire's been burning ever since. The Gates of Hell
Oh.
are located in the Karakum Desert, about 161 miles north of Turkmenistan. This crater, which is 230 feet in diameter, burns continually as its heat spreads out across a large area. The scene is everything you'd expect from something that bears the title Gates of Hell, complete with boiling mud, angry flames, and sinister crevices aglow. Needless to say, this hot spot has been a hot spot for tourists over the years, but it's clearly one of the most dangerous places to be on the planet. Number 11. North Yungas Road. Any road in the world can pose a threat, since car accidents are one of the leading causes of accidental death in the world. But when it comes to the most dangerous places to be, I suggest steering clear of the North Yungas Road. Also known as Death Road, North Yungas Road is in Bolivia, and it's laden with hairpin turns and death-defying drops. The road's 43 miles of pure danger, with cliffs that descend 2,000 feet.
If you
And
mess
if a
up
2,000-foot drop
anything,
isn't enough to keep you off this road, the road is also plagued with frequent fog, rushing landslides, and even waterfalls. So just how dangerous is the Death Road? Well, up until 1994, there were roughly 300 drivers killed while driving on the road every year. One of the biggest problems is that the road is very narrow in places, so passing oncoming traffic is nearly impossible. It was also the only road that connected Coroico to La Paz, but that all changed in 2009 when the government built a new road at a close-by mountain range, and the North Yungas Road was given new pavement, drainage systems, and much-needed guardrails. Even with the safety upgrades, though, North Yungas Road is still very dangerous and continues to be a road that claims quite a few lives annually. Number 10. Omiakan. We all know Antarctica is cold. We equate the frigid and isolated continent to glaciers, snow, and all things sub-zero. But Antarctica isn't the only deathly cold zone around. Omiakan in the Omiakansky district of Russia is one of the most dangerous places on the planet because of its extreme climate. The village is home to around 500 people, and these people have somehow managed to carve a life for themselves despite the frigid cold. And when I say cold, I mean cold. The temperature in Omiakan can drop as low as negative 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which means there's no vegetation in this area. Nothing can grow with a temperature so low, so food supply is a very real concern for the people who call Omiakan home. Furthermore, residents can't really welcome visitors since most people can't travel there safely because, well, they'll freeze. In fact, it's so cold that indoor plumbing freezes during the winter, so people in the town rely on outhouses, and the majority of their diets consist of meat, like reindeer, because there's no vegetation. Omiakan is widely considered to be the coldest inhabited place on Earth, and while people who live there know how to live there, most of us wouldn't survive. Number 9. Death Valley. When the word death appears in the name of a location, it's a pretty safe bet that it's not somewhere safe. Death Valley on the border of Nevada and California is one of the hottest deserts on the planet, with an average temperature of 108 degrees Fahrenheit. The scorching heat of Death Valley is enough to stop anyone dead in their tracks. Its highest recorded temperature was 134 degrees Fahrenheit, which is officially the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth. The heat hit in 1913, giving the infamously hot deserts of the Middle East and Africa a run for their money. The valley was named after a group of settlers who became lost in the desert around 1850. Thankfully, they were lost in the winter and only one person passed away. The settlers were saved and escorted back to safety, but as they left, one of them bid the desert farewell by saying, "Goodbye, Death Valley." The name stuck. Death Valley is a geographical region of extremes. It's 282 feet below sea level, and Badwater Basin in Death Valley is the lowest point in North America. There is more than 1,000 miles of road that weaves through Death Valley, so people can visit it, but those people are warned to take caution. Due to the extreme heat, it's recommended that you don't stray too far from your car and that you bring plenty of water. Oh, and if you come across an area called Devil's Golf Course, put your putters away. The area is named that because only the devil could play golf there. It's a scenic area full of jagged spires that makes a much better photo op than it does a fairway. Number 8. The Skeleton Coast. Known by the indigenous Sand people as the land God made in anger, the Skeleton Coast is part of the Atlantic coast of Namibia. The climate is very inhospitable, as the coastline is plagued by high winds, drought, and heat. The surf on the beach is constant and heavy, and as such, there was a time when it was impossible to launch from the shore. The only
This
way to
is
get
a
out
long,
was
long
to
time
trudge
ago.
through miles and miles of marsh and then through a hot,
Oh,
arid
why is
desert.
there a
This was
gun
before
there?
engine-powered boats, of course. The entire coastline is uninhabited and very desolate. In fact, the only man-made thing along the shore are the remains of ships that
There's
have
a
wrecked
bad
there.
tank.
Other than the wrecked ships, the only other thing in
There's a
sight are
tank.
animal bones, hence the name Skeleton Coast. There are bones for miles on the Skeleton Coast, as many
Even
different
a
types of
shipwreck, a
animals
tank,
wander the
a
shoreline
truck.
looking for some marine grub, too. Lions, hyenas, cheetahs, giraffe, and even elephants have all been seen wandering the Skeleton Coast, as well as hundreds of thousands of Cape Fur seals. But since the Skeleton Coast has been described as close to our planet gets to the mythical end of the Earth, it's not a popular place for people. It does see some surfers, though, and other thrill seekers from time to time, but it's highly recommended that anyone who goes there exercise extreme caution and go with a guided tour. Number 7. Madidi National Park. Madidi National Park covers about 11,000 square miles along the Amazon River in Bolivia. It features dense forests filled with all sorts of flora, fauna, and yes, predators. The protected park was established in 1995 and is one of the most biologically diverse places in the world. It's also one of the largest protected areas in the world, too. There are around 270 different types of mammals, 200 species of amphibians, 200 species of reptiles, and upwards of 120,000 species of creepy-crawly insects. Many of the plants are toxic and can cause rashes and allergic reactions. Many of the insects can kill and or paralyze a grown human. Many of the mammals are predatory and dangerous. In fact, it's sometimes said that everything that is natural in this park is poisonous. The dangers of Madidi National Park cannot be overstated. Anyone who chooses to visit here should really only do so with a tour guide. But even then, given the high number of poisonous, venomous, and toxic creatures and plants, no one's safety is guaranteed. Stunning? Yeah. Breathtaking in its untouched beauty? Sure. But highly, highly dangerous. Number 6. Bolton Strid. Rivers, they come with their own inherent dangers. Fast-moving currents, whirlpools, hidden debris, and undercover deadly reptiles are just a few of the dangers lurking in some of the world's rivers. But they don't call the Bolton Strid the Killer Creek for nothing. Bolton Strid is a section of a river in England. It's widely believed to be the most dangerous stretch of water in the world. So if you thought the Amazon or Nile River was a force to be reckoned with, then think again, because this narrow and small stretch of river has claimed the lives of countless people. The river itself is 65 miles, and parts of it are picturesque as it winds and weaves through some lovely, quaint English countryside. But there's a stretch of the river that's so dangerous, should you accidentally fall in, your chances for survival are next to none. In fact, according to the locals, 100% of people who have fallen in at Bolton Strid have died. 100%.
So that is very
sadly, a lot of their bodies were never recovered. The river's about 30 feet
so
wide
only
at the
people
mouth
that
of
know
Bolton
how to
Strid
swim
as it
can
flows
survive
easily along. But then, suddenly, the water is squeezed through a tiny 6-foot channel, causing the water to pick up immense speed and to thrash from side to side. Whirlpools are aplenty, and the rushing water can easily pull under a person.
The water is
if you ever find
fast
yourself
and
walking
strong
along the river,
and
beware the Bolton Strid.
Number
5. Valley of Death in Kamchatka, Russia. I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't seek out any area called the Valley of Death. The Valley of Death is a volcanic gorge in Kamchatka, Russia. This peninsula in Russia's far east is very remote. The area is also known for its beauty too, and snow-blanketed volcanoes that spit out molten fireworks. This area is home to a plethora of species that scurry and scavenge their way across the remote landscapes. There's one specific region, though, that poses a threat to any animal unlucky enough to cross it. In the Valley of Death, animals enter, but they really never come out. The valley is littered with animal carcasses, preserved from the cold. The area was widely unknown until 1975, when some researchers stumbled upon the strange valley riddled with unexplained animal corpses. There were no external injuries to these animals, so scientists studied the area to find out what was killing them. The cause of death? Poisonous gases from the volcanoes. These gases accumulate in the valley: hydrogen sulfide, carbon disulfide, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. The valley is only about 1.2 miles long and about 1,600 feet wide. It's taken the life of many bears, wolverines, birds, foxes, just to name a few. As such, the valley is closed off to tourists and can only be viewed from afar, since the concentration of gases trapped in the valley are potentially lethal to anyone who wanders in. Number 4. Shark-infested waters. Alright, let's be clear. Sharks don't attack nearly as many people per year as some people believe.
White shark.
In fact, there's a lot of other deadly marine life out there
A
that
whale
cause
sh-
much
why is
more
a whale
rigmarole
shark
than
so
sharks
small?
actually do. We're looking at you, jellyfish. But with that being said, there are some beaches that have a higher than average number of shark attacks, or the most
great
shark
white
attacks in the world. Take Port St. John's Second Beach, South Africa, for example. It's been called the most dangerous beach in the world for shark attacks. One of the reasons that this beach is deemed so dangerous is that every single shark attack here has resulted in a
diamond. Your
fatality.
teeth are
This
going to
is
break.
usually not the case with shark attacks.
No.
According to sources,
Like
there have
the
been
diamond,
13
your teeth
shark-related
are going to be
fatalities
break.
in the area since 1990. So Port
teeth
St.
are
John's
broken.
Second Beach
No.
takes the cake when
Your
it comes
teeth
to
are
fatal
broken.
shark attacks. But when it comes to shark attacks in general, then the record goes to New Smyrna Beach in Florida. New Smyrna Beach is a mecca for unprovoked shark attacks. There have been more than 300 unprovoked shark attacks in that area in the last decade. And while most of them didn't result in fatalities, the injuries were often pretty substantial. Another dangerous area known for shark attacks is Recife in Brazil. In fact, the beaches of Recife have one of the highest areas of attacks per square mile in the world. This number has increased drastically since 1992 thanks to nearby construction, which has displaced the sharks and increased boating activity, which has drawn the sharks to that area. And finally, Gansbai, South Africa, is another hotspot for cage diving because of the high concentration of great white sharks. And while cage diving is generally pretty safe, anyone who chooses to swim freely in the shark-infested waters will put
just looks
themselves
like
at
a
risk.
giant
The area is
snake.
known for unprovoked shark attacks too. Watch out. Number 3. The killer
But how do
exploding
you
lakes.
swim if
Unknown to most, there
How
are
do you
3
swim if
exploding
you're
lakes
not
in the
moving?
world. Lake Kivu, Lake Nyos, and Lake Manun. All 3 of these lakes hold the possibility of something called a limnic eruption. A limnic eruption, also called a lake overturn, is a very rare type of natural disaster in which dissolved carbon dioxide suddenly erupts from deep lake waters. When it does, it forms a gas
Is
cloud
that
that's
sheep?
capable of suffocating wildlife, livestock, and yes, humans. For a limnic eruption to happen, the lake has to be saturated with gas, either CO2 or
Oh.
methane. Basically, deep within the
That's a
lake, the
big
water
explosion.
absorbs these gases. The lake won't explode without a trigger, though. Landslides, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and even severe storms can all trigger the explosion. When this eruption happens, it causes a massive CO2 cloud to
Tsunami.
form above the lake, which then expands
A
to the
tsunami?
surrounding area.
A tsunami-
CO2 is
a
denser than air,
tsunami
so the
can
cloud
get, like,
sinks to the
two-
ground, causing potential CO2
double-layered
poisoning.
houses.
And although a limnic eruption is very, very rare, they have happened in the past. On August 21st, 1986, a limnic eruption occurred at Lake Nyos in Cameroon. The eruption caused the release of
A tsunami is
300,000
bigger
tons
than a
of
big
carbon
lake.
dioxide, and the cloud traveled at 62 miles an hour and then dropped down on nearby villages. It was a catastrophic event,
The
and a
explosion-
degassing
How does
system was put in
explosion
place to
work
reduce the
when it's
levels of
underwater,
CO2 in
and
the
how
water
is there
to help
still
mitigate
fire?
further eruptions. Needless to say, being in the vicinity of an exploding lake is probably not somewhere you want to be, especially since these lakes can literally explode without warning. Number 2. The Urta Ale volcano. Being near an active volcano is not a good idea. When a volcano erupts, it causes mass destruction with very little time to escape. In fact, some of the worst natural disasters in history have been caused by volcanoes. Fire, molten lava, toxic
Fire,
gases.
yeah,
When
lava.
volcanoes erupt, it truly is the stuff of nightmares. But not all volcanoes are created equal when it comes to their danger factor. Why? Because
You
some
just touch
volcanoes
one
aren't just
little bit
prone
of
to
lava and you're
spontaneous
dead.
eruption. They also have lakes of lava. Yep, lava lakes. They're pretty cool. They aren't common. There's only 5 known volcanoes with
Maybe
lava
two-
lakes in the
two
world.
tiny
But
little
one look
pieces
at a
of
lake of
lava, you're
lava and
dead.
you can see why these volcanoes pose a significant threat. But let's up the ante a little bit. This volcano
It's like
sees your lava
water.
lake and it raises you another. The Urta Ale volcano has not just one, but 2
It looks
lava
like
lakes,
water.
doubling down on its danger factor. Located in the Afar region of Ethiopia, the Urta Ale volcano is one of the most
Tiny
dangerous
little bit
volcanoes
of
on the planet.
fire.
This one has
Tiny
2
little bit
lava
of
lakes
fire
in its
just
summit
triggers
crater, and the
everything.
amount of lava in these lakes is constantly changing. The volcano is 2,011
Just
feet
trigger
high,
everything.
and the lava lakes are known to
It triggers
overflow
the
on the south
volcano
side of the
exploding.
volcano. When they overflow, they do so without warning, so you can see how dangerous this thing is. And since it has 2 lava lakes, it's especially significant. Plus, Urta Ale holds the world record for the longest existing lava lake. The volcano is often called the Gateway to Hell by locals, although its name means smoking mountain in Afar language. The volcano is constantly erupting, but there's little known about this dangerous basaltic shield volcano since it's located in an extremely inhospitable region, and it's very difficult for scientists to access and study this unique volcano. So it's highly unlikely that anyone would find themselves in the vicinity of this thing if it erupts, which is a good thing, because one look at those lava lakes and you can see why this is one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Number 1. Snake Island, Brazil. Even if you wanted to visit this next location, you can't. Snake Island in Brazil is so dangerous that visitors are completely banned. The island is officially called Queimada Grande, and it's a pretty small island off the coast of Brazil in the Atlantic Ocean. At first glance, you might wonder what all the fuss is about. Looks pretty unassuming from a distance, but it's called Snake Island for a reason. The island is saturated in golden lancehead pit vipers. In fact, there are so many snakes on this island that every 3 feet of land has about 5 snakes. Considering that the island is 110 acres, that's a pretty crazy amount of snakes. This island was once part of the mainland, but was separated from it by rising sea levels. When this separating happened, the snakes on the island became stuck there. With no more natural predators, these things were given free rein, and they literally took over the island. Golden lancehead pit vipers are very, very dangerous. 95% of deaths caused by snake bites in Brazil are at the fangs of a golden lancehead. One bite from this menacing snake can kill a full-grown man within hours. Their venom is so potent it actually melts flesh. This is why no one's allowed to visit the island, because you likely won't survive a trip there. Snake Island is easily one of the most dangerous locations on the planet, and some sources say it is the most dangerous. Yeah, and I think I'd agree. There aren't really any other locations in the world where you're pretty guaranteed to die if you go there. So Snake Island is number 1 on this list of the top 15 most dangerous places to be. I'll see you next time.
The shape of the head is triangle.
Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.
Oval snakes are the ones that don't have venom.
Oh.
Triangles headed snakes are the ones that have venom.
Oval snakes?
Take one down.
Being down just makes the comeback all the more exciting. Let's perk you up. From abandoned man-made mines to natural sinkholes and underwater pits, we reveal the deepest, most dangerous holes on the planet that will make you think twice before taking that stroll, as they have swallowed machines, animals, and people. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Forever Green. In this video, we explore the 10 most dangerous holes on planet Earth, and you should stick around for number 1, as some of these Earth's deepest places have stories as dark as their depths. Number 10. Blue Hole, Red Sea. Also known as the Diver Cemetery, the Blue Hole is located in Dahab, Egypt, with a depth of 328 feet. While diving in the Blue Hole might not be dangerous itself, this underwater sinkhole has a unique feature which makes it incredibly lethal. At around 181 feet down, there's a rock tunnel known as the Arch that connects the hole with the Red Sea. Because the water is so clear, light at the end of the tunnel makes the arch look a lot shorter than it really is, when in reality, the tunnel is 85 feet long. This length, together with a current that constantly flows into the Blue Hole from the Red Sea, slows the progress down. These factors make it so deadly for even the most experienced divers who attempt it thinking it will be easy, unknown to them, for its deceptive length and current. The Blue Hole is associated with a death toll of between 130 to 200. A famous death here was 22-year-old Yuri Lipsky's, who took a video camera with him descending uncontrollably to the bottom. Yuri, as seen in the footage, panics and tries to fill a buoyancy compensator. But he's too deep, and the pressure stops him from rising off the bottom. His remains were collected the next day by deep-water diving specialist Tarek Omar. Number 9. Door to Hell, Gates of Hell. The Door to Hell in Derwiz, Turkmenistan, is a Soviet experiment that turned out to be bare unintended consequences. In 1971, scientists initially wanted to use the remote desert site to drill for natural gas. The ground beneath, however, collapsed as the drilling rig hit a natural cavern filled with gas, and they had to stop the drilling. The hole is approximately 230 feet wide and 65.5 feet deep. Fearing the spread of poisonous gases into the surrounding towns, geologists intentionally lit the natural methane gas by tossing a grenade into the hole, anticipating that it'd burn off within a week. That was more than 4 decades ago, and it has, however, been burning continuously ever since. Its glowing is visible from Derwiz each night. Fittingly, the name Derwiz means gate in the Turkmen language, so locals have dubbed the burning hole the Gate to Hell, and is actively being encouraged as a tourist attraction site by the Turkmen government. At night, camel spiders attracted to its light and warmth fall to their deaths in this pit's fiery bowels. And if you think this place is not dangerous, then number 1 will have you ossified. Number 8. The Kola Super Deep Borehole.
The core secret.
The project to drill into the Earth's surface began near Murmansk in Perchensky District, Russia, in the 1970s, when Soviet scientists wanted to learn more about the Earth's crust. Over 2 decades, they managed to dig more than 39,600 feet, 7.5 miles, into the Earth so deep that if Mount Everest was placed into the hole, its peak would still be underwater by more than 10,560 feet, 2 miles. The Kola borehole is also further down than the wreck of the Titanic, which is 12,500 feet down into the ocean. However, in 1992, they had to stop drilling because the temperature was around 180 degrees Celsius, which was far much hotter than the scientists had projected it would be. All this drilling wasn't for nothing though, as some scientific discoveries were made. The researchers found out that there is water at 12 kilometers into the Earth's crust. Additionally, they found 24 new types of long-dead single-celled organisms and gained access to rocks that were 2.7 billion years old. Hidden underneath this rusty lid is the Kola Super Deep Borehole. If you fell down the hole, it would take around 4 minutes to reach the bottom. Locals in the area say that the hole is so deep, you can hear the screams of people being tortured in hell. Hence its nickname, the Well to Hell. Before we move on,
When we get deep into the earth.
Harder.
Why?
Because inside is lava.
Correct. There's no sun, right?
Yeah.
It gets hotter, actually.
Yeah.
Because the pressure and heat inside the earth make it hotter.
on to our next most dangerous hole. Leave us a like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications and you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Number 7. The Devil's Sinkhole. The Devil's Sinkhole in Texas, USA, commonly known as the Satanic Sinkhole, is a huge vertical cavern that reaches 400 feet down from a 50-foot opening, carved from water erosion over thousands of years. The Devil's Sinkhole's precise history is still unknown to scientists. However, artifacts found inside the cave date from 400 to 2500 BC. Among the artifacts are arrowheads and burnt rocks suggesting that the hole might have been used as a Native American burial site. 3 people are known to have died by falling into the sinkhole in modern times, with the most recent in 1972, which led to the area being transferred to the state of Texas in 1985 and opened to the public in 1992. Today, access to the area is only available through advance reservations. Do you suffer from chiroptophobia? Then this is definitely not the tourist destination point for you, as the sinkhole is home to more than 3 million Mexican free-tailed bats that, terrifyingly, emerge screeching from the depths at sunset during April through October. Number 6. Dean's Blue Hole. Dean's Blue Hole, popularly known as the deadly diving hotspot located in Long Island, Bahamas, is one of the deepest underwater sinkholes on Earth at 663 feet deep, taking its name from a local Bahamian family. At the surface, the Dean's Blue Hole has a diameter of 115 feet, but after descending 66 feet under, the hole widens considerably into a cavern with a diameter of 330 feet. Formed over 15,000 years ago, Dean's Blue Hole is thought in 63 feet deep, taking its name from a local Bahamian family. At the surface, the Dean's Blue Hole has a diameter of 115 feet, but after descending 66 feet under, the hole widens considerably into a cavern with a diameter of 330 feet. Formed over 15,000 years ago, Dean's Blue Hole is thought to be the result of a sinkhole formed by rainwater soaking through cracks in limestone bedrock when sea levels were lower. The hole is visible above water because of the deep blue hue of its water, compared to the light blue around it.
That's about
It's home to all sorts of marine life,
500.
including tropical fish, turtles, and seahorses. Since April 2008, it has been the site of the vertical blue free diving competition. Legend says that the hole was dug by the devil himself, and that he's still there, dragging
No,
those that
just
dare to
try
swim
it.
there to their deaths. In 2013, Nicholas Mevoli died shortly after surfacing from diving
Oh my
into
God.
Dean's Blue Hole from a pulmonary edema, excess fluid in the lungs, the first death in an international free diving competition. In 2008, 3 women drowned when one fell into the hole and the other 2 were trying to save her. The youngest victim was just 14. Cops arrived at the scene to find the 3 women's bodies floating by the shoreline after the horrific accident. Number 5. Kimberley Mine. The Kimberley Diamond Mine in South Africa, also known as the
Because
Big
they don't
Hole,
have scuba
is claimed to be the deepest hand-dug hole anywhere in the world. At over 700 feet, the Big Hole was excavated by 50,000 diamond miners with shovels and pickaxes between 1871 and 1914. It is so large that it is visible from space. However, the operation didn't come without tragedy, as between 1897 and 1899, 7,853 patients were admitted to Kimberley Hospital following accidents on site.
Why do
At least
people want to make this
1,114 died, mostly from tuberculosis and other sicknesses caused by the horrendous conditions the miners
dangerous hole?
lived and worked in. Legend has it that if you listen carefully while standing at the opening,
They just wanna
you could still
swim.
hear the cries of the miners long gone. After mining stopped, the hole became the most visited tourist attraction in the area, and today
Swimming.
it has a museum just next door. Number 4. Berkeley Pit.
People do things for money.
The Berkeley Pit in Montana, USA, is a 1,780-foot deep abandoned copper mine, and now one of the only places in the world where you can pay to see toxic waste. It was closed in 1982 and has slowly been filling with water ever since. And because the rocks in the mine contain heavy metals and chemicals like sulfuric acid, the site now holds back more than 6.5 trillion gallons of toxic acidic copper-colored water. In 2016, a large flock of several thousand
There's a
snow geese
small
landed in the
chance
pool
that
pit
you
to
find
avoid a snowstorm.
4 diamonds
Worried
in one
officials tried to
pile.
scare the birds out of the water and stop more landing, but eventually around 4,000 of the geese were killed by being exposed to chemicals in the water. Would you visit this toxic copper-colored lake? Leave a like and let me know in the comments below. Number 3.
They're
Glory
epic.
Hole. The
But
Glory
what
Hole
if
is a
something
spillway
epic in
of the
the
Monticello Dam, USA. The Monticello Dam was completed in 1957. Its function is to keep people safe by making sure
But
water levels
epic,
in Lake Berryessa
legendary,
don't
mythical.
overwhelm the dam and cause floods. Rather than spilling over the edge of the dam when the water grows higher, it is funneled into a spillway. The Glory Hole, which is 72 feet wide and 700 feet deep. It can hold a maximum of 362,000 gallons of water per second, and water only spills out into the Glory Hole when it reaches 15.5 feet above the level of the funnel, and the last time this happened was in
Well,
May
people
2006.
made it.
For Emily Schwalek, the 72 feet wide drain was a deadly trap as the 41-year-old was swimming in the lake in 1997 when she found herself being pulled towards the spillway after she had crossed the buoy line designed to keep bathers out of harm's way.
Where is it?
Number 2.
Where's-
Shand Bori. Built between 800 and 900 AD, Shanbori in Abaneri, India, is one of the biggest stepwells in the world,
Wow.
with a depth of 100 feet. It was made to keep rainwater from the monsoon season for use at drier times of the year. 3 sides of the well have 3,500 steps that drop 100 feet down, while the 4th side houses a temple to the Hindu god, Harshat Mata, the goddess of happiness. Because of deadly accidents in the past,
go down
one
there.
now needs special permission to go down into the bottom of the monster well. Local legend even claims that the well was dug in a single night by ghosts. But film buffs will better recognize it as
Ghosts?
Batman's prison in the setting of Dark Knight Rises, as well as the scene for setting of The Fall.
Oh,
It's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber wondering about this gigantic, monstrous shark that appears to be
That's a
emerging
blue-
from an underwater sinkhole. If you come across a mysterious photo online and want us to look into it, just send it over, and we
I
may
know
even
that's a
feature
blue-
it on a future video. Now, we looked into this picture and are excited to reveal to you that it is indeed the most dangerous shark in the world, the bull shark. Bull sharks are responsible for
That is
more
not a
documented
bull
attacks
shark,
on
that's a
people
blue.
than any other species of shark. The
That's
famous
not a bull
blockbuster
shark,
movie
that's a
Jaws
blue.
was actually inspired by a true story where several people were killed by one or more bull sharks. So be on the lookout when swimming out in the ocean. Nonetheless, there is a sinkhole that comes very close to looking like the one in this picture, and that's number 1, Great Blue Hole. 60 miles off the coast of Belize is the Great Blue Hole, one of the largest sea holes in the world, also known as the Deep Blue Grave. The gigantic pit is almost 1,000 feet wide and over 400 feet deep, and is home to reef and bull sharks, like the one on the just explained subscriber picks photo. Originally, the Blue Hole was a limestone cave that started to form about 150,000 years ago. Gradually, the water level rose and the caves were flooded and its roof collapsed, forming this unique hole. The hole, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a popular scuba diving spot made famous by Jacques Cousteau in the 1970s, who named it one of the best dive spots on the planet. Last year, Virgin billionaire Richard Branson went with Cousteau's grandson, Fabien, to the bottom of the chasm in a submarine. At the bottom, they found the bodies of 2 of the 3 divers who were thought to have gone missing in the hole. And that's it for the 10 most dangerous holes on planet Earth. Which of these places got your heart racing the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, you should definitely check out our video on 12 most magical places in the world.
How does even something survive without a head?
We will continue.